Hey, what's up guys? It's Andrew Santowski. I'm giving you another UFC Fight Night prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Aspinall. It goes down literally in 2 hours from London, July 23rd, 2022. I cannot wait for this event, guys. This card is stacked. A lot of European talent, a lot of American talent. Can't wait, man. The main event is an absolute banger. The co-main I think could be a little better, but it is what it is. Still a stacked main card. Still a lot of guys I've wanted to see fight that haven't fought in a while, and we get to see it all go down today. So let's start off the first prelim fight, guys. Nicholas Dalby against Claudio Silva. Two guys you can absolutely not trust. You know, any other event I could see both these guys being fed to up-and-coming welterweight fighters. Nicholas Dalby, man, this is the ultimate guy you cannot trust, man. This guy pulled an ultimate stunt in 2016 when he fought Peter Sabata. And, yeah, that led to his UFC release. Man, this guy was a big favorite over Sabata in that fight. I don't know, he just pulled a stunt, man. That's when kind of Peter Sabata came back. Started looking really good for a couple years, and he put on a nice, impressive win performance in Cage Warriors. Got a call back up, and he's been in the UFC for about 3 years now. In his second stint, and he's going up against Claudio Silva, man. This guy, you know, back in the day, he was a tough guy to beat. He was always kind of an inactive fighter. He's 40 years old. His body shows it. He hasn't went over Leon Edwards back in the day, guys. I mean, this guy, he's pulled off some wins, man. You know, and he's lost his last two fights, but you know, to decent guys in James Krause and Court McGee. And against Nicholas Dalby here, man, I'm gonna side with Dalby, but man, this is zero confidence, man. I'd kind of like to see Silva pull it off, but I'm gonna side with Nicholas Dalby here by decision. Mandy Bohm against Victoria Leonardo. I see a lot of money coming in on Leonardo, and I think it's fool's money, man. I think, you know, probably having a bet on either of these sides isn't the smartest thing to do, but you know, I can't fault guys for believing that there's a value on a certain side. Like Mandy Bohm has been bet down to pick them. If you see the value there, I can understand it. I mean, she opened, I wanted to say she opened minus 150, minus 160 on 5 dimes, minus 185 on Bet Online. And I think her reach advantage is going to give Victoria Leonardo problems. And I think Victoria Leonardo's a gasser. And I don't really think Mandy Bohm is. And I like the fact that she's moved to Vegas. She's training at Extreme Couture. And so I do like Mandy Bohm to get the win here. Jai Herbert against Kyle Nelson. Two guys that don't really have great chins. Kyle Nelson's at a huge reach disadvantage. Hasn't fought in a couple years. They're tailor making this matchup for Jai Herbert here, man. And Jai Herbert, he's an exciting fighter, man. He's just, his chin has betrayed him in numerous fights. So I'm gonna side with Jai Herbert here, man. I'll never forget when I had money on this guy a couple years ago when he was a dog to Trinaldo. He absolutely was you know, winning that fight against Trinaldo until he had that third round meltdown. And yeah, that's the end of betting on Jai Herbert. But yeah, my pick will be Herbert here. Muhammad Mokaev against Charles Johnson. Man, I cannot wait for this scrap, guys. Two exciting flyweight contenders. We're getting to see Charles Johnson make his UFC debut. They had an intense stare down at the weigh-ins yesterday. Probably the most heated of all the fighters, I believe. They really wanted to get at each other. Mokaev put his hands on Johnson. I'm going to side with Mokaev here, man, but I think this is a real stiff test. So my pick will be Mokaev by decision. Makwan Amirkhani against Jonathan Pearce. I've alternated my my pick on this one a couple times. Amirkhani, like I said, normally first round or bust, but he's really good at fighting that stuff in the first round, and I like Amirkhani, man. I really do. You know, he's done all his training camps in the UK or Finland. And he's going up against Jonathan Pearce, man, who's training partners with Kamala Kirk, a guy who beat Amir Khani. So I'm going to side with Pearce here, man. But, I mean, I can't fault anybody for taking Amir Khani. I'm really looking forward to this fight, man, because I can see it's going to be a lot of grappling. It's going to be exciting. Nathaniel Wood against Charles Rosa. We'll see how Nathaniel Wood's time at featherweight plays out. He's moving up to 145. It's his first fight today against Charles Rosa, man, a guy with the UFC, you know, always pits on European cards. I'll never forget when he made his debut against Dennis Seaver, I think, on a European card way back in the day. Yeah, it was. I mean, like, it was, man, so long ago, guys. I remember all this stuff. We're talking about 8 years ago, man. And, yeah, it's, but my pick will be Nathaniel Wood here by decision. Mark Diakese against Damir Hedjovic. My pick's going to be Diakese here. But, you know, it's one of these big favorites is gonna poop the bed, guys. And we'll find out who it is. Diakese, I think he's a 3-1 favorite. Let's refresh the odds just to get the latest odds. Yeah, Diakese sitting at a minus 345, minus 430 on BetOnline. My pick will be Diakese by decision. Ludovic Klein against Mason Jones. Man, Mason Jones was kind of really emotional, animated at the weigh-ins yesterday. Kind of worries me, man. Klein did not seem bothered. Klein seems really thick and muscular at 155. I think this is going to be a good scrap, guys. I don't think we can count Ludovic Klein out of this fight. I'm going to sell Mason Jones here, man. But Ludovic Klein is, he's a gamer, man. Don't count this guy out. Don't count this guy out. I would not feel confident laying that chalk on Mason Jones, nor having, like I said, Mason Jones in a parlay or anything. It's a minus 380, man. This guy does not deserve to be a minus 380 over Ludovic Klein. That is kind of ridiculous, man. Paul Craig against Volkan Oezdemir. Man, something tells me Paul Craig is going to get this done here, man. I am taking Volkan Oezdemir in this fight by first round knockout, but I have a feeling Paul Craig is going to drag this to the ground, man, and lock up a submission, man. I like how Paul Craig approaches these guys at weigh-ins, gets in their face, man, just shows them he is not afraid, man. In my mind, Volkan was kind of spooked, man. He was kind of spooked at the weigh-ins, man. And don't get me wrong, these guys are two top light heavyweight contenders, man. I like both these guys. I'm going to side with Volkan here, man, but I cannot fault anybody for siding with Paul Craig because he is really good at getting guys to play his game. You know, he is willing to go out on his shield every time, all the time, man. And I have a lot of respect for that. And something tells me Paul Craig is going to sell out to get that submission, man, and he might be able to do it here, man. Be very careful if you're laying money on Volkan. A lot of guys are recommending Volkan for their play of the night. Be very careful. Molly McCann against Hannah Goldie. Again, man, they're trying to elevate Molly McCann here. I'm going to side with Molly McCann. I just don't think Hannah Goldie's that good. Would not have any real trust in Molly McCann, though. Nikita Krylov against Alexander Gustafsson, another fight that I'm very much looking forward to. We're seeing Gustafsson at light heavyweight for the first time in 3 years. Man, I never thought this guy would return from his retirement. You know, especially after he lost to Fabricio Verdum 2 years ago when he moved up to heavyweight. Nikita Krylov, this guy's hit and miss, man. I'm going to side with Krylov here by decision, but I cannot fault anybody for taking that dog shot on Gustafsson. Paddy Pimblett against Jordan Levitt. I really think this is going to be Pimblett's fight, man. I think Pimblett showed up in shape, and I think he's going to knock out Jordan Levitt really bad here. Jack Hermansson against Chris Curtis. I just think Hermansson's just the way bigger guy, man. I like Jack Hermansson. Even though Chris Curtis has showed that he's very hard to take down, I think Hermansson can still win this fight. And I do like Hermansson here. Curtis Blaydes against Tom Aspinall. Guys, I was kind of on the Curtis Blaydes train riding into this fight, man. But as the week has gone on, I've switched my pick to Aspinall, man. And I've been one of those guys that I did not want to believe the hype on Tom Aspinall, man. I just did not want to believe that this guy is for real. He's legit, but you know, I think this guy is, man. I think this is really good for the UFC and for England. to have their own heavyweight top 5 guy, man. And Tom Aspinall, man, what else can you say about this guy, man? This guy seems like a really stand-up guy outside of fighting. Just the way he conducts himself. He trains with his dad and his, his gym and all that. And Curtis Blaydes, another good guy, man, outside of the sport, from what it appears, man. I mean, this guy, how many times has this guy fought in Europe in main events and just different events? He's fought in Nagano. I mean, in Croatia, he's done a lot of things, man. And Curtis Blaydes, this guy's always headlining fight cards, man. And a lot of respect for this guy, man. The two top 5 heavyweights, man, headlining an event. It's going to be a good night, man. I got a lot of respect. I was on the Volkov side last time against Aspinall. How disastrous that was. Tom Aspinall, he's for real, man. And what's so good about this fight is his cardio is going to be tested. If this fight goes outside of the first round, his cardio is going to be tested, man. Curtis Blaydes is a cardio machine. So it's going to be very interesting, man, because this has all the makings to really elevate Tom Aspinall to a potential title shot, and it has all the makings to be a serious letdown for the guy as well. If this fight gets extended and Curtis Blaydes kind of exposes, any chinks in his armor, which might be his cardio. I mean, because Curtis Blaydes is going to lay on you, man, just drain you. And Curtis Blaydes is very well-rounded, man. It's, like I said, the only thing you could really say about the guy is just some chin issues, man. But the guy's really developed his stand-up, man. I mean, just crazy. He's really developed his stand-up. What he did to Chris Dawkins his last time out, man. He stood with Junior Dos Santos, so we're going to see how this fight plays out, man. I cannot wait. If either of these guys wins, it doesn't, like I said, I don't have any money on this fight. But, yeah, I am going to side with Tom Aspinall here. But, man, I cannot fault guys that are on either side here. So my picks, guys, for this fight for this event will be Tom Aspinall, Jack Hermansson, Paddy Pimblett, Nikita Krylov, Molly McCann, Volkan Oezdemir, Mason Jones, Mark Diakese, Nathaniel Wood, Jonathan Pearce, Muhammad Mokaev, Jai Herbert, Mandy Bohm, and Nicholas Dalby.